welcome Rob to Four Corners Wines.
Absolute pleasure.
We're delighted to have you on board. It's our first feature winery, and it's a real treat for me given that you gave me a start in the industry back in the old Yarra Ridge days.
It's been 100 years ago, but I think you've gone on to many good things from there, which is great.
So now we're on to Rob Dolan Wines. This is the 2012 Sauvignon. Where's the fruit come from?
Okay, fruit, this one's from a little vineyard, which is called Melbourne Valley. So it's out past Wortley's. It's a lovely little site. It was originally planted as Albarino, which a lot of the Sauvignons that are sold in Australia were originally planted as Albarino. It's barrel fermented style, light leaves, nice and fresh and lively. You're going to need a little bit of time to settle in, so this is 2012. These are wines which actually will age very nicely. They're wines you can drink in 5-10 years actually.
Right, not many people would have seen them with that sort of age on them, I imagine.
No, there's only a few, but certainly in terms of coming out of Europe, there's they're actually sometimes referred to as yellow wine, so they're quite unusual.
Okay.
The styles can be made with, where you actually crush the berries and then ferment them in contact with the skins.
Yeah.
And they'll go into barrel, and they can be made with sort of, I guess, a semi-fortified style, and they can be in barrel for 6 years at a time. So there's some different. It's a very unique style. In Australia, we make them very much as dry whites with plenty of fruit flavour and so forth. But we'll start to what I call funk this wine up a little bit in the next few years. But it's a very small volume production, around about 250 cases.
Oh, so lovely mouthfeel and good texture.
Yes, definitely. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah, and then you get that through barrel fermenting.
Yeah, we do. Probably in hindsight, we use a little more new oak on this than I would like to. Normally, I would prefer this wine coming out of 1 and 2 year old French oak. There's a little bit of new oak which sits a little on top of the wine at the moment, but I think that'll start to settle in once it's that time in bottle.
Terrific, yeah. By bottle.
Right, so the next wine is the 2012 Chardonnay. This is a little more barrel fermentation, that's tomato as well.
So this is out of the True Colours range?
Yes, definitely part of the True Colours range.
Hence the coloured labels.
It's a blend of basically 4 different vineyards from memory. So 4 different vineyards are coming in from different parts of the Yarra, from Gruyere, a little bit coming from the other side of the Cold Stream, Yarra Glen, and again a little bit from Dixon's Creek.
I guess being in the valley for what, 20 odd years now, you know where all the good parcels are?
Well, I hope I know where they are, but I've got a feeling there's a lot more that I haven't found yet. we're not a big company, but we're just getting started, so it's very early days for this young business. But we're certainly pleased with the direction we're heading. We've had a little bit of success of late, and that's helping to keep.
Yeah, well, the new winery of the year with Hello is a fantastic result. Yeah,
these things are not easy to get, as you probably know from your experience, but certainly we're very pleased to get a few little wins that we've gone along, which is great. So this is the fuller style, a little more complex, as I was saying. Obviously barrel fermentation. It's been on leaves for about 6 months. 50% would have been through fermentation. Once the finished fermentation is stirred on about a 2-weekly to 3-weekly basis. So to lift up the solids so we can get some more complexity, but it's a richer, fuller style. Next wine's a rosé. This is 2012. It's a dry rosé, and it's Nathan Cabernet.
Great.
So it's been made purely as a rosé. What we're trying to do is not, it's not a run-off rosé, it's actually come in and been whole bunch pressed.
Yeah.
So you'll find colour-wise it's fairly pale, but it's bone dry, so in terms of flavour characteristics it's much more what I call the savoury spectrum.
And so right from the start, the winemaking mindset was we're making a rosé out of this fruit, that's it. It's not a secondary wine out of something else.
It's been purely made as a rosé. The fruit's come purely from vineyard which is on the highway next to Rochefort, so it's an interesting little vineyard, it's actually quite a large 100-acre vineyard, but purely being treated as that. There's another component coming from vineyard which is up at the back of, I guess we call that area Cold Stream, and it's a vineyard owned by the Dolan family.
Right.
But again, as I said, it's nicely perfumed, but clean and crisp, dry, and obviously fantastic drinking when you get into the spring. This is not a high volume wine in terms of what we're making. We're making no more than 300 cases, so it's a small make.
Okay, bring on some.
Oh, the next one, 2012 Pinot Noir. This is a new release product which is just coming to the market actually right as we speak, so it's only been released in the last few weeks. 2012 as a vintage, possibly the strongest vintage I've seen in the Yarra. Pinots are quite big wines, so they've got plenty of power and depth. They're not what I call lightweight wines. So they're probably a dry red vintage Pinot in many respects, but they do have plenty of power and lovely soft palates. But you'll see some remarkable wines, particularly from Pinot from this vintage. So I'm certainly we're very
You think Pinot's the pick of the varietals across the valley from 2012?
In 12, surprising Cabernet, I think probably the strongest. The Pinot will be strong, very close second, very, very strong.
Yeah, immediately you can see that beautiful colour and lovely polish.
There's only some real texture and weight on the wine as well. So this winery is very well set up for Pinot. We've got about 250 tonnes of open fermentation capacity, so we do batches of around 2 tonnes through to about 5 to 6 tonne batches. We use a little bit of air from that for rolling ferments. In terms of winemaking, it's much more, we call down the cold soak spectrum, so the fruit comes into the winery and basically hand-picked fruit nowadays, 1.5 tonne batches. Then it goes through the crusher. These days rolls are open, straight crushed directly.
Not really squashing the berries.
And then they're going directly into open fermentation. But they're chilled on the way through down to about 8 degrees. So it's a slightly kick ferment. We actually do a little bit, we inoculate with yeast, which is a bit of wild ferment, but we try to get a little bit of interest and funk to the wine, but not going too far. You have to be very careful. We don't, we will sometimes do a little bit of extended maceration, which means I'm doing it post-fermentation. So once it's sugar dry and finished ferment, we'll sometimes leave them on for an extra 2 or 3 weeks, but
it's a bit more palate length and
a little more length. So this is a pretty grunty style of Pinot. Right, the next one to try is the 2012 Cabernet Shiraz Merlot blend. This is a blend of 70% Cabernet, blended with equal percentages of Merlot and Shiraz. The surprising thing you'll find is it's actually got a bit of punchy Shiraz coming through. Shiraz out of 2012 was very spicy, strong white pepper characters. Fruit for this wine is coming from Saunders Vineyard, which is Melba Valley. Some also coming from the Deadman Vineyard, which is the one that's over the other side of Coldstream, and the one also that's on the highway as you're going past, just as you go past Rochefort. So they're the 3 main sites that this wine's coming from. And this is where I was saying 12 is a very strong vintage, there's plenty of weight, but that little bit of spice coming through on the palate. Merlot has obviously the middle palate weight. And the Cabernet comes right
through. You guys were saying earlier, you can really see that white pepper character in the background there. Adds a nice little bit of spice to it. And
surprisingly, that's only 15% of the blend, so it's only a very small percentage. Now, this was 2012 Cabernet.
Straight Cabernet?
Straight Cabernet. This is coming in from several vineyards. A vineyard up next to Rochefort, which used to be called Yarra Hill Vineyard. And another component coming from vineyard at the back of the golf course. So it's the Ewing Meadows golf course. So if you want to run a golf course, it's a nice spot to go and play golf with the Yarra. But it's also the back of Mount Mary. So very, very, very strong site. And the dominant component will be the one that's coming in from the back of Mount Mary. Oh, we better change that.
Can you just repeat everything you just said?
That sounds like something like that.
That goes in the blooper reel.
That's a rookie mistake, isn't it?
Maddie's the bloke at the pizza theatre, the phone rings. Oh, this is 2012 Cabernet. I would say you'll see a huge change in the Yarra on the quality of Cabernet coming through. In the last, in the early years when I was coming in this area, as I said, I was picking Cabernet in '94 on the 14th of May. And you might have been around then.
No, that was before me, 95.
So 14th of May, now that's coming from a vineyard called Fern Hill, which is now owned by Coldstream Hills, or part of the Penfold structure, or that foster structure. That vineyard, I would now pick that possibly, I pick actually a vineyard right next to it, and I picked that about the middle of March, so that's almost coming in 6 to 7 weeks earlier.
Wow, that's a huge change.
And that's the change. So one of the things you'll see is you'll get riper styles of Cabernet. And with the 2012 vintage being a small vintage in terms of cropping levels, we were down 40%. I I think this is possibly the standout variety because of the power and the weight.
What's the alcohol in this?
Around 13.5.
Yeah.
It says 30 on the back of the bottle, but it's around, these days you get to 0.5%.
Yeah.
It's certainly got some weight and depth.
Well, doing those, a bit of work at St Hubert's back in the late 90s, I really fell in love with Yarra Valley Cabernet then.
Yeah, well, it must have been, that would have been 97, 98, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that wine that you very well with, that 98, one of the best Cabernets made out of the Yarra. It's a cracker wine. Got the top line, I think, in, I think it was the age top 100 wine, so it did very well.
Yeah.
It's a lovely wine. And I think this reminds me very much of that vintage. It was a little bit, wasn't quite as warm as the vintage, as the 98 vintage. But being in 2013, the thing I like is the power and the weight on the palate. It's certainly some real depth, nice structure. There's a little black currant and spice coming through on the nose and on the palate.
Yeah, for anyone who hasn't tried Yarra Valley Cabernet before, it's a cracker. All right, well, thanks very much for the tasting today. Great to see you again, and all the best with the new venture.
Well, likewise in itself.
Yes, it should be a bit of a ride.
I think we're both at the beginning of, I guess, new businesses. You're in a very new business, which you're just starting. I think we're the first wine.
Yes, first wine.
So hopefully that little start of going into you, I hope this little start that kicks you off here. And I wish you all the very best with what you're doing. I think it's a fantastic concept, and I'd love to be, from our side, very much looking forward to being part of the first steps.
Great, thanks very much for your time.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.